Welcome, everyone. So today we're jumping right into a fascinating explainer where we're going to impartially analyze a truly remarkable piece of textual history. Have you ever thought about how ancient texts can harbor incredibly complex, multi-layered structural patterns? The kind that just completely fly under the radar at first glance. Well, today we're exploring a report detailing the structural and mathematical properties of Surah Al-Kawthar, a chapter from the Holy Quran, and we'll see exactly how language and numbers can perfectly intertwine.
I want you to start by asking yourself this. How much complexity could actually be hidden in just 10 words? Like, really think about it. Imagine the sheer challenge of conveying deep thematic meaning, delivering a highly specific historical command, and simultaneously weaving a hidden, flawless mathematical symmetry into a text that's short. It sounds almost impossible to engineer, right? But as we unpack the source material today, you're going to see just how astonishingly precise an ancient text can be. Section 1. The shortest chapter.
Okay, let's dive into this and get some essential context. Surah Al-Kawthar holds a very specific distinction. It is officially the absolute shortest chapter, or surah, in the entire Quran. Now, usually when we hear that a text is the shortest within its respective book, we naturally expect, simplicity. A quick message, maybe a brief little aphorism. But the report we're looking at today demonstrates something entirely different. Instead of simple brevity, the text reveals profound linguistic and numerical marvels. It operates with a striking mathematical precision that seems intentionally woven right into the very fabric of its letters.
Section 2. The command to sacrifice. So, to really grasp this mathematical precision, we need a starting point. Let's look at the broad thematic context before we zoom way down into the actual math. The source material highlights a highly specific divine command found within the short chapter. The Arabic word used here is wanhar, which translates to sacrifice. As in the instruction, so pray to your Lord and sacrifice. And what makes this exact vocabulary word so foundational to our analysis is its absolute uniqueness. The word wanhar appears exactly one time in the entire Quran. It is totally exclusive to this one specific surah.
And that unique command directly introduces our core structural number for today, 10. Why 10? Well, because, as our source material notes, the command to sacrifice ties directly to the universal Islamic day of sacrifice, known as Yawm an-Nahr. And that specific day falls precisely on the 10th day of the month of Dhu al-Hijjah. So, the thematic core of the text revolves entirely around an event that happens on the 10th. Keep that firmly in the back of your mind.
Section 3. The Rule of 10.
Let's move to and see how this builds. This is where our explainer shifts from the macro, the calendar date of the 10th, right down to the physical words printed on the page. We're going to look at three distinct structural properties. First, if we objectively count the exact number of words that make up Surah Al-Kawthar, we see an immediate pattern. Inna atainaka al-Kawthar fasalli li rabbika wanhar inna shani'aka huwa al-abtar. If you count those out, the total reaches exactly 10 words. So, the chapter specifically dealing with an event on the 10th day of the month is constructed using exactly 10 words.
But the structure goes even deeper than just a word count. We can zoom in further from the words, right down to the individual letters. The report points out that every single verse in this brief surah ends with the exact same Arabic letter, the letter Ra. You can actually hear it in the rhythm of the text. Al-Kawthar, Wanhar, and Al-Abtar. They all perfectly align with this specific ending consonant.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the position of that specific letter within the alphabet. If you look at the standard Arabic alphabetical order, the Abjad or Hijaya system, you'll find that the letter Ra is perfectly positioned as exactly the 10th letter of the alphabet. No way, right? So a 10-word chapter, about the 10th day of the month, finishes every single one of its lines with the 10th letter of the alphabet.
And finally, we reach the climax of the zoom-in sequence at the absolute microscopic level of the physical text, the diacritical dots. In written Arabic, dots are used above or below certain letter shapes just to distinguish them from one another. Our source material highlights a meticulously precise count of these dots across the entire text of the surah. If you count every single dot used, the total is exactly 10. But wait, it doesn't stop there. The final, 10th dot lands precisely on the letter Nun in the word Wanhar itself, that totally unique word commanding the sacrifice.
Section 4. A calculated conclusion.
It's honestly a remarkable sequence of data points. Let's pull back for a second and summarize the incredible numerical harmony discovered here, looking at it completely objectively as a piece of structurally engineered literature.
And this brilliantly illustrates the perfect synchronization at play. On one hand, you have the thematic meaning, a unique command pointing directly to the day of sacrifice on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah. On the other hand, you have the literal, physical, structural reality of the text. It's exactly 10 words long. Every verse ends with the 10th letter of the alphabet, and the entire text utilizes exactly 10 diacritical dots, with that final dot landing on the exact word that triggers this whole sequence.
So the crucial point is exactly what the report concludes. Regardless of your theological background, analyzing the physical structure of this text reveals an absolutely compelling example of numerical harmony and precision. It essentially takes the abstraction of Arabic linguistics and binds it to a universal mathematical framework. It's an extraordinary demonstration of how deeply intentional design can be layered into literally the shortest of texts.
Which leaves us with a fascinating thought to take away from this explainer. When we see a 10-word sentence perfectly mirroring its thematic date through its word count, its alphabetical endings, and even its microscopic punctuation, we have to ask, what does this level of structural precision tell us about the hidden, mathematical design of historical texts? Like, how many other ancient documents are sitting in archives right now, holding layers of mathematical symmetry just waiting to be counted? Keep that curiosity alive and keep looking closer at the details.